When stress hits, man, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your default. I wish it wasn't true, but I've lived it. All the stuff I say I believe, being present, being a strong husband, a grounded dad, it all gets tested the minute life throws us a curveball. And most of the time, my first reaction's not heroic. It's whatever I've been rehearsing without even knowing it. Before we get going today, let's start us off with a prayer on this beautiful Wednesday. Father, you know we get restless. You know we want the big wins and the quick results. But you also know we struggle with the quiet and boring stuff. The small bricks that actually make us the men we say we want to be. So today, Father, we're asking for help. Help us love that daily brick. Help us see you in the repetition. Give us the patience to keep showing up even when nobody else is watching. Forgive us for the times we've quit early or gone chasing that next shiny thing. Remind us the real foundation, our faith, our marriages, our families, they're not built in a moment, but brick by brick. Jesus, we can't do this on our own. So today, we choose one brick and we lay it in your name. Thank you for walking with us while you keep building the men you've called us to be. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, Joey, let's reflect on something. You ever feel like you're doing all the right stuff, whether that be your habits, your daily goals, your reading, your planning, journaling, lifting, connecting with your loved ones, and then chaos hits? One thing comes into the plan and everything falls apart. That one thing can take away all of your momentum that you've worked so hard to build.
Well, I never feel like I'm doing all the right stuff, to be honest. But I do feel like I'm doing a lot of the right things, and I am the king of letting one thing totally derail me. So I'll give you my example. It would be what we're doing right here. When we started 4 months ago, 4 or 5, now it's been 5 months, whatever. It's not been too long with Brotherhood Forged, and we started recording, and then we added more podcasts, that type of thing, as we're evolving. I'd say growing, but we're evolving and growing. Anyways, prior to that, I was spot on with my nutrition. Okay, maybe not spot on. I was 90% really good with my nutrition, working out 5 days a week for minimum. And then we started getting up early and we started doing all this stuff, which is awesome. I love doing it. I'm passionate about it, as are you. But yeah, my routines have fallen off, and I'm still struggling to get back to my workout routines, get back to tracking my food and those type of things. So, yeah. How about you, new papa?
I was going to say, between the schedule wrench that we've thrown in here with the podcast and the community and everything like that, and then adding in a baby as well, like my entire structure and routine that I had before both these things is completely gone. And that's fine. It's one of those things where I think it can be fine as long as you're aware of it and as long as you know you have to adjust it. I think for too long, though, I was trying to fit it back in and it just didn't apply. There's no way I could still wake up to work out at the time I was trying to while doing this recording, while helping Amber take over for my turn to have the baby while she went back to sleep. Like, if I would have tried to fit all those things back in that same time period, it never would have worked and I would have set myself up for failure. So as we go through this, it's one thing to say, you can beat yourself up for it and be like, man, I'm not doing the things that I once was doing, even though I was firing at such a high cylinder, doing so well at them. It's okay. Now you just have to readjust and recalibrate it, create a new schedule, create a new routine, but don't allow life to create that for you.
One thing that stood out there, Paul, that you said is I couldn't fit those things back in. I couldn't add Theo back in, early morning feedings, all that stuff back in. And that's a fact. What you have to do when those new things hit, you have to just rewrite it. You have to pivot. You're not going to be able to keep adding things into your routine or you're going to just explode. You're going to get burnt out. So I thought that was a great point, and that's what really stuck out to me. Rework it, rewire it, but you can't fit everything into your old routine or you're just not going to succeed.
Absolutely. It's a lot of stuff like in life when you outgrow certain things, you have to adjust to it and you have to walk into the next step. And this is just it. Like, I've outgrown my past schedule and past routine just like you have. So we have to figure out a new way to have that new normal of what it looks like while we do this stuff with the content, while I adjust with the baby schedule, that kind of thing. And it reminds me too, man, if we'll talk about the football field to fatherhood segment here, in football, we always had what's called a 2-minute drill. So when the pressure's at the highest, you're down, you're trying to get back within the last 2 minutes, you always had a plan. Like, you always had the scripted tight plays that you rehearsed all week in practice. You went through them all. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't something that like is the most glamorous thing, but it's the plays that you think you had the best success at to get you back. Now in fatherhood in real life, most of us go into that fourth quarter with zero script. We're reactive. We're exhausted. We're unguarded. So now I've kind of reflected on that as I continue to build off this segment into my real life, and I thought about how important it is to have a 2-minute drill as a dad. For me, this looks like when chaos hits, I pause. When the house is loud, I lower my tone, and I try to become the thermostat. When my energy dips, I know I have to move my body. I know I have to drink water. I know I have to get in my prayer. I know if I sit down and check out that I'll shut down for the entire night. I know I have to keep moving. I have to find something within my control to get it done and ask myself, what's the one thing I can do in this moment? That's my fatherhood drill. It's not perfect. It's not fancy, but it keeps me in the pocket when I want to run. It keeps me grounded and more calm under pressure. And it allows me to take back some control by making a choice in the moment instead of checking out.
You've worked on that fatherhood drill. I'm sure it's constantly being polished as well. Not something you just flipped a switch and started doing perfectly. Would that be accurate?
100%. Going from 2 kids to 3 kids, I've had to adjust it even more. For me, though, what stayed the same is, you know me, the more we work together, I love the meaning of symbols and how they can ground you and reflect you to stuff.
Right.
So by labeling it as something as like, all right, what's my 2-minute drill in this moment? It allows me to reflect and readjust where I'm at opposed to react. So it's just giving it that label. It doesn't always have to look the same, but just knowing like, okay, I'm starting to feel stressed out. Things are happening. What's my 2-minute drill? Just gives me that chance to kind of rework things and figure it out instead of react to them.
What does that pause look like for you, Paul? When you say when chaos hits, you pause. I'm just curious, what goes through your mind when it gets hectic?
Well, first, it's what I try not to allow through my mind. It's that knee-jerk reaction of screaming. And I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I still lose my temper. Sometimes I still lose control of my voice, tone with my kids. But it's that first thing. It's like, okay, don't react the way that my knee-jerk reaction wants to. And then I literally think about these different things as quickly as I can because we're in real time, right? So I think about the symbol that anchors me, and then I think about, okay, how do I want to react in this moment? How do I want my kids to remember this moment? And again, I'm not perfect at it. I still screw this up plenty of times.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I'm closer and closer to getting it as bright as I can.
Reaction is something I'm much better at. I still catch myself reacting instead of responding, but I'm better at it. So one for me, a reaction type of thing is Bobby's going to laugh at this, but she was in a pretty bad car wreck, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You lose track of time. Where she was rear-ended at a traffic light. The guy behind her was not paying attention. There was a ambulance coming across, so she had to stop, and a van hit her at 40 miles an hour, a big work van, full speed, back of her car. And so now she is very timid. She's very jumpy when we're driving. Well, in my opinion, sometimes she's a little bit overreactionary, but I haven't been through what she's been through, right? So I haven't been in a bad wreck. She'll be like, "Stop, hit your brakes, slow down." And to me, I'm fine. And maybe even to other people, they'd be like, "Well, that's crazy. She's overreacting." But I tend to like just get frustrated and get mad, and I'm doing better to just keeping my mouth shut because she's not doing that to be mean. She's not saying those things. So learning to not react. In those cases, I'm better off not responding at all. Just slowing down, staying not so close to the car in front of me. Those are just so important. But being aware is, yeah, that's where it's at.
Well, like you said, man, understanding your awareness to her perspective of it because you don't have that shared experience. You weren't in the car like she was. So when that comes, because Amber would do the same thing to me, man. She's like, "Do you see this car? This car is hitting their brakes," and they'll be like 200 feet ahead of me. I'm like, "Yeah, I got time. We're good." But again, it's like we don't have their perspective. So if in those moments when they say those things, if we can think of like, what are they trying to tell us right now? What are they thinking? It's not like so often we take it personal that they're judging our driving or they're judging our character, whatever it is. They're not. They're just trying to look out for us because it's something they've experienced, and it can be scary. So it's like when they say those things, think of like this isn't a personal attack. This is something that they took place of, and then it gives you that kind of default time to switch your mindset of like, this is not an attack on my ego. This is not an attack on my driving. They're trying to look out for our safety. They have good intention. Easier said than done, like I often say. But
Richie, you heard
Yeah.
that. Easier said than done. Good point. I could go on and on about that, but I won't. There is an area I need to be more aware of and work on. And it's been years and years, and I took it personal far too long. It's not personal.
Right.
Most things are not personal that we take personal. If you can stop taking so much personal, maybe read the Four Agreements. That's a really good book on Toltec ancient wisdom, but it's really short, but I would highly recommend it. All right, we're going to do a little heart work marriage mode. We'll do this on a Wednesday episode. I'm going to be real with you. My default during stressful times, it used to just be silence. Not stressful times like in the car that I just talked about. But that silence, it wasn't out of malice. It's not because I was mad. I was just trying to survive. I'd get tired, shut down. I would check out, and Bobby will and typically would call me out and say, "Are you okay?" And I'd be a classic line, "Yeah, I'm fine." But Paul, most of the time, I'm not fine. I was fried, tired, wore out, whatever the case, maybe stressed. And honestly, saying I'm fine in the moment, as you've probably been there, is not the right thing to say. It's a slow killer. But most men live there. It's the easy way out. And it can quietly wreck your marriage because what happens is resentment starts to build up. And I'm trying to get better at this. I'm hyper aware now, and I make myself share what's really going on with Bobby, even when it's ugly, even when it's messy. Because holding it in, that's just a straight shot to disconnecting with her. Giving her some credit, she always calls me out. And it doesn't even take words sometimes. Most of the time, it's just that. You know the look, and most people are listening, but they're not seeing it. You're seeing that look, and you know what I'm talking about. Does Amber give you that look?
There's always a look, man. There's always a look.
Does anybody not know that look? Then you're probably not in a real relationship. And truthfully, that's exactly what I need. So now I've got a new default plan for our marriage. I try to check in before I ever check out. And by that, I mean, I'll say, "Hey, I'm stressed out right now. This is bothering me. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm not just going to leave the room." And I ask her, "What do you need?" before I leave the room. It's not polished. It's not pretty, but it's me being present. And 9 times out of 10, presence, that's what our wives really want from us.
I love that new default that you have, man, because it's so easy just to get overwhelmed, get frustrated, and just walk out of the room. But then you've left your partner there sitting there thinking, what did I do? Is this something I did or didn't do? Is this something I said or didn't say? And we didn't explain our intention or our thought process. And what you did is easier said than done, but this is literally easy to say and to do. You
Yeah.
just say, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go chill for a minute. I'm going to take a walk, whatever it is. Speak that intention to them instead of leaving them sitting there guessing what just happened, because that's the stuff that creates the division. That's the stuff that creates the assumptions and the resentment. And more often than not, you could take that away by just over communicating your intentions and your thoughts. It's one of those things, we talked about this as we were prepping for this content. I wish I would have known that earlier in marriage.
Communication, communication, communication. I had the same talk with a student of mine. We went to lunch yesterday, and he's pretty serious in his relationship. And I said, "Is she the one?" He's like, "Yeah, I think she is." His name's Alex, great kid. I was just telling him, if I give you one piece of advice, if this does become marriage, or even as you date and maybe work closer to marriage, over communicate, Alex. I'm like, there's one thing that's going to save a marriage and make your life so much easier. Communicate even when it's hard. If something's on your mind, if something she's doing is bothering you, and if something you're doing is bothering her, you guys need to always talk it out right then. If you let that stuff fester, dude, it can definitely destroy you. And it took me so long to learn that, but we're still here. We're still plugging away. But best piece of advice I can give, put God first and then communicate. It really is that simple, Paul. We choose to let our pride get in the way far too often.
Having that conversation with our spouse is so important, opposed to having that conversation with ourselves in our head and then assuming and thinking what they'll say, because then we've had this entire argument in our mind before even going to them. They may not even be thinking the same thing. So incredible advice, dude. I think that's one thing that, like I said, I wish I knew that earlier on in marriage. And speaking of marriage, I think there's something special here, right?
There is. Tomorrow, not as I record, but as this will be posted, it will be our 33rd wedding anniversary. The fact that I have been married, or no, me back up. The fact that she has stuck with me for 33 years is pretty incredible because I have been a jackwagon off and on throughout our marriage. I think I'm much better now, but we still have our moments. Mostly I have my moments. So I did write out a letter to her, and like Paul did, and yeah, he gave me the idea. So I wanted to share it on today's episode. You're probably like, why are you doing it a day early? It's because this is our longer episode and our shorter ones. Well, we usually have a point and we're in and out pretty quick. So
Mhm.
I am reading this. It's in front of me. So here we go. Bobby, tomorrow marks 33 years of marriage, and I still can't believe you said yes way back in college over that bottle of wine at Alexander House, especially after some of the things we did back then. We'll keep those stories between us, mostly to protect your reputation because you know I could care less. One of the moments that always define us was the day Alex was born 29 years ago. That joy and the strength we've shown through the tough seasons since is what I'm most proud of. You've walked beside me through health battles with cancer, through my occasional moments of sheer stupidity, and somehow you keep loving me. This past year, I've been especially grateful for how you've supported me in our building of Brotherhood Forged. Your encouragement, your critiques, and your belief in the vision that both Paul and I have mean the world to me. You've been huge in my growth with Jesus, from recently started reading the Bible with me every night to cheering me on as I give back to others. Our future, we don't know. Whether we end up with grandkids or not, whether we retire on a lakefront or we're in the same house we're in now, I just look forward to spending it with you. Bobby, I love you more today than the day we said I do. And if the last 33 years are any indication, the best is still ahead. I love you, babe.
Beautiful, man. Happy anniversary. And I think you're right. The best is still ahead. And the momentum that you guys have been building with all since I've gotten to know you, right? The friendship is there. That's one of those things that I love when you talk to people that are ahead of life, more ahead of you in life, especially with marriage. And you can just see the ones that really have it are the ones that are truly, genuinely in love with spending time together. They're best friends. They figure things out. You may not always want to watch the same movie, but you're there together so that that person can watch the movie. You're doing the dates, you're doing all that stuff. And it's just that friendship is it's so priceless and so beautiful. And I think that's another golden piece of longevity in marriage is just stay friends. That's above all else. You have to be friends. You're going to love them regardless, right? But if that friendship's not there, the love can start to dwindle as well.
People forget, Paul, that love is a choice. It's not just an emotion. And if it's just an emotion, it's not going to last because there are times you're not going to like each other. I mean, that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to choose to love them. And that's how we've gotten through 33 years. It's through stubbornness on both of our parts, through loving. No. She's definitely loved me through some harder things that I put her through than what she's put me through, if that makes sense. And I'm grateful for her stubbornness because, like I said, I've been a jackwagon off and on. I think I'm doing much better now, but yeah, you've got to become friends. Like, and I've talked about this in the past. I used to always be playing golf, or before I got my arm jacked up, I used to play pool a lot, 2 to 3 nights a week. It was all about me, whether I was playing golf all the time or playing pool all the time. But honestly, I, I'm very content just being with her, just spending time with her. Yeah, there are times I'm going to want to do those things still, but they aren't a priority. She is literally my priority now. And it feels good. It's not a burden. It's not hard. It's what I really want to do.
Yeah, I love to build off that, man, what you said of whether you're on a lakefront or in the same house you're in now. I just look forward to being with you. And I feel that. I feel that with you guys, and I feel that with myself. Amber and I can be sitting on the couch. We can be at a restaurant. We can be just walking the dog. Whatever it is, I just love being around her. That friendship and that bond is so priceless and so beautiful.
It is beautiful. And it shows. It shows with you too, just when I get her on camera and the little interactions we've had when we've ran into each other in October. But yeah, it's a good thing.
It's fun, man. We are 40 some. This will be episode 37, but we're working on 40 some. And I'm going to say this is probably the hardest segue we've ever had to go from something so deep and emotional to back to the content. So happy anniversary to both of you guys, man. I'm so excited to see
Appreciate that.
the stories and the chapters that you keep building on your guys' love story and your guys' next chapters and everything you have.
Real quick, as you listen to us, you'll realize that we often just start talking, and I think that's the best content. We obviously do lay out our episodes, but today we've definitely stepped outside of the rails, and we don't apologize for that. We hope that what we've shared just about our personal lives is impactful and in line with what we're talking about. So,
So this is my best attempt to get us back in the rails.
yeah.
Reeling us in. The coaching moment we got for you guys. So here's the truth. You don't need to predict the chaos because you can't. Life's going to happen no matter what. You can't predict all of it. But you need to pre-build your anchor. Chaos isn't the problem. Lack of preparation is. So do something for your future self. Whenever you face that chaos, think ahead. Do something for your future self. Do something today that you don't want to, but is a favor for yourself tomorrow or later this week. It's showing up for yourself and showing yourself some love. Allow that thought to become your default instead of checking out. So if you start to feel like you're going to check out, think of how can I help my future self by not snowballing more chaos into the life? What's one thing I can do right now that I can thank myself for later?
Good question. And here's the thing about defaults. They're not random. You've been training them whether you realize it or not. You've been training them your whole life. All those times I grabbed my phone instead of praying or zoned out instead of engaging. Hit the snooze. Very guilty of that lately. Instead of working out, I was rehearsing my escape. So when the chaos hits, boom, what happens? My body already knew where to run. That's not the good news. But the good news is if you can train a bad default, you can train a better one. It just takes intentional reps. It is a real thing. You can retrain your brain, rewire your brain. You can also retrain your default.
And if you break it back down to that and you think of it that way, it then becomes a choice. You can accept what's happened throughout life and the default that life's created for you, or you can interrupt that pattern with intentional steps, intentional habits, and new defaults that create the outcome that you want. So on Monday, we brought to you guys Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. What we want to do on Wednesdays now is do a little devotional, dig into these verses a little bit further. So the content for sure you can see from us is from the football field to fatherhood, the heart talk, and then the devotional. And I'm sure you'll see us go in and out of the guardrails a few times as well. So, Joey,
We do that. As Paul said, Proverbs 4:23, that's the weekly verse. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That reminds me, storms don't wait for a calm season. Have you ever got to pick your storms, Paul?
No.
Yeah.
Life has a way of testing if you can guard your heart or not.
They do. They just show up in the worst time possible. Work piles up, family's pulling you. You got noises and distractions coming from every direction. What do?
Yeah, I mean those are the moments where it's like more key than ever that your heart is the control center. And if you leave it unguarded, you're gonna allow chaos to just keep walking in and taking over it. Here's the tagline that Richie said I'm getting known for now. It's easier said than done, right? If you don't let yourself guard your heart, you just continue to kind of let it get trampled over.
And when that happens, you're not responding from a place of faith and clarity. You're doing what we just talked about in the car. You're reacting.
Exactly. Guarding your heart doesn't mean that you have to shut the world out either. It just means you have to protect the source because everything flows from it. Your words, your decisions, your tone with your family, how you show up for your family, all those things come from this. So you really have to decide. It's not shutting out the world, but it's what do I allow into me? What do I allow to affect me? And how do I control it from there? You don't have to shut it all out, but you have to be very intentional with it.
I'd say the real question here, Paul, would be what's getting through the gates of your heart this week? Is it fear, maybe anger or distraction? Or let's flip the script. Could it be truth, hope, or peace? Only you know that.
That's a good question and a good challenge for all of us. Strengthen that guard with your prayer, with scripture, and with people who steady you instead of shake you.
Having the right people in your circle is so important because when your heart's anchored, the storm, it can't sink you.
I love that. And the right people in your circle, there's a pretty good community that I just became aware of. Brotherhood Forged community, I believe. I think that's what it is. It's a good circle. Good
Tell me
stuff
about
going
that.
on. Yeah, the sales pitch, we don't have a sales pitch. It's all just from the heart. It's authentic and genuine. So what you can expect is a lot of what we have going on here, kind of to the next level. It's hands-on daily stuff, daily conversation, weekly calls. Really just trying to decide, it's guarding your heart. There's so many places you can go in your life. There's so many different communities you can be a part of or not be a part of. But this is one that we think is the most intentional as far as the direction we want to go. And I think the guys that have joined us so far would certainly agree too.
If you have any questions or need any more information, go to brotherhoodforged.com. Currently, that's going to be a Linktree site. Soon it'll be a website. We are building all these things as we go. It's going to be amazing. We already have a handful of members and quite a few others that have shown interest. So,
all right, let's wrap us up, man. Your default mode is where the real work begins. Not under the lights, not when the cameras are rolling. It's in the chaos, the unplanned mornings, the late night interruptions, the moments when life is punching you in the face. You don't rise to the level of your highlight reel. You fall to the level of your default. And you get to choose it. That's the beautiful part about it. However, if you don't, life will choose it for you. Hey, let me tell you, if life picks it, life's going to pick comfort, distraction, and whatever's easiest. But when you've trained your default and anchored yourself into something unshakable, you already know how you'll respond. You hold your line in the storm because the storm is where you've already practiced. It's where you put the reps in. Anyone can look strong when it's easy. It's in the grind, the mess, the unseen moments, life's chaos. That's where you're forged. So win there and you'll win anywhere. Train your default and you'll never have to fake your strength. It will show up when you need it most.
I thought of Mike Tyson. What does he say? Everything's something till you get punched in the mouth. Everything's funny.
Everyone's got a plan.
Is that what it is?
Everyone's got a plan till you get hit in the face or something like that.
Hit in the mouth, punch in the mouth, whatever. Yeah. It stuck. Obviously, it wasn't super memorable, but I get the concept. He's right. Everybody's got a great plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. In the wisdom of Mike Tyson. But as we wrap up, here's what I've learned, Paul, the hard way. When chaos hits, you're not going to magically level up. You're going to default to whatever it is you've been practicing, rehearsing, and doesn't make you a failure. It's your training showing, whether that's lack of training or training. So if your default is disappearing, snapping, numbing out, don't beat yourself up. Just recognize it for what it is. Because once you see it, you can start retraining it. And here's the hope. Every single pause you take, every time you choose presence instead of escape, every deep breath, every prayer, every I'm here you offer your family, that's one of many reps. They forge the man you're becoming. They turn chaos from something that crushes you into something that forges you. So this week, when life comes swinging, don't just survive it. Take that one breath, make that one move towards presence, and trust that your new default is being built one honest step at a time. Welcome, Tucker. If you're on YouTube, Tucker is in the picture. That's all I got. Be blessed, y'all.
See you guys. Thanks for listening today. We don't take that for granted.
Your support matters. You're part of something much bigger, and we're thankful you're on this journey with us.
Stay strong, stay intentional, and know you're not walking this alone.
If this challenged you, please share the impact. Growth is better together.
We'll see you next time on Brotherhood Forged.